GFCI, or ground fault circuit interrupter protection for electrical receptacles, is a critical safety measure, particularly in locations where water and electricity may come into contact. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, provides specific guidelines regarding where GFCI protection is required. The question at hand involves the application of these guidelines in a dental clinic setting, specifically concerning 110 volts receptacles near countertop wash basins and treatment rooms. According to NEC section 210.8 b, GFCI protection is generally required for 125 volt through 250 volt receptacles installed in bathrooms. A bathroom is defined as an area including a basin with one or more of the following: a toilet, a urinal, a tub, a shower, or similar plumbing fixtures. This requirement is intended to protect individuals from electrical shock hazards that may arise when using electrical appliances or equipment in close proximity to water sources. Additionally, NEC section 550.13 b addresses GFCI protection in mobile homes, manufactured homes, and recreational vehicles. This section mandates GFCI protection for receptacles located within 6 feet of a sink or wet location. The rationale behind this requirement is similar to that of NEC section 210.8 b to minimize the risk of electrical shock in areas where water is present. However, NEC section 517.21 introduces an exception to the GFCI requirements for receptacles installed in critical care areas of healthcare facilities. Specifically, this section states that GFCI protection is not required for receptacles installed in critical care areas where the toilet and basin are installed within the patient room. The rationale for this exception is based on the understanding that critical care areas require a higher level of electrical reliability and that nuisance stripping of GFCIs could potentially disrupt essential medical equipment or procedures. It's important to note that the term critical care area has a specific meaning within the context of healthcare facilities. According to the NEC, a critical care area is defined as a space within a healthcare facility where patients are subjected to invasive procedures and are continuously monitored. These areas typically include intensive care units, cardiac care units, and operating rooms. The determination of whether a particular area qualifies as a critical care area is ultimately the responsibility of the healthcare facility and the authority having jurisdiction, or ARJ. In the context of the dental clinic, it's necessary to carefully evaluate whether the treatment rooms meet the definition of critical care areas. If the treatment rooms are not considered critical care areas, then the GFCI requirements of NEC sections 210.8 b and 550.13 b would likely apply, mandating GFCI protection for the receptacles near the countertop wash basins. However, if the treatment rooms do meet the definition of critical care areas and the receptacles are installed within the patient room, then the exception in NEC section 517.21 may apply, potentially waiving the GFCI requirement. It's crucial to emphasize that the interpretation and application of the NEC can be complex and may vary depending on the specific jurisdiction. Therefore, it's always advisable to consult with the local electrical inspector or authority having jurisdiction, or ARJ, to ensure compliance with all relevant regulations. The AHA has the final say in determining whether GFCI protection is required in a particular situation. To further clarify the GFCI requirements, let's consider several scenarios. Firstly, if the dental treatment rooms do not meet the criteria for critical care areas, then GFCI protection is likely required for the 110 volt receptacles near the countertop wash basins. This is because these receptacles are located in close proximity to a water source, which presents an increased risk of electrical shock. Secondly, if the dental treatment rooms do meet the criteria for critical care areas and the receptacles are installed within the patient room, then GFCI protection may not be required. However, this exception only applies if the toilet and basin are installed within the patient room. If the toilet and basin are located outside of the patient room, then GFCI protection may still be required. Thirdly, even if GFCI protection is not required by the NEC, the dental clinic may choose to install GFCIs as an additional safety measure. This is a voluntary decision that can provide an extra layer of protection against electrical shock hazards. When selecting GFCIs for use in a dental clinic, it's important to choose devices that are specifically designed for healthcare applications. These GFCIs typically have additional features, such as transient voltage surge suppression to protect sensitive medical equipment from electrical disturbances. In addition to the NEC requirements, there may be other applicable codes and standards that govern electrical safety in healthcare facilities. These codes and standards may be promulgated by state or local authorities, or by organizations such as the National Fire Protection Association, or NFPA. It's essential to be familiar with all relevant regulations to ensure compliance. Furthermore, it's important to conduct regular inspections and testing of GFCIs to ensure that they are functioning properly. GFCIs should be tested monthly by pressing the test button and verifying that the device trips. If a GFCI fails to trip when tested, it should be replaced immediately. In summary, determining whether GFCI protection is required for receptacles in dental treatment rooms involves a careful analysis of the NEC requirements, the specific characteristics of the treatment rooms, and the applicable local codes and standards. Consulting with a local electrical inspector or authority having jurisdiction is always recommended to ensure compliance with all relevant regulations. Always prioritize safety and adhere to the highest standards of electrical safety in healthcare facilities to protect patients, staff, and visitors from electrical shock hazards. The relevant NEC sections include 210.8 B, which covers GFCI protection in bathrooms, 550.13 B, which addresses GFCI protection in mobile homes and recreational vehicles, and 517.21, which provides an exception for GFCI protection in critical care areas of healthcare facilities. These sections should be carefully reviewed and understood to ensure proper application of the GFCI requirements. It's also important to note that the NEC is updated every 3 years, so it's essential to stay current with the latest edition of the code. The authority having jurisdiction, or OJ, is responsible for enforcing the NEC and other applicable codes and standards. The AHJ may be a local electrical inspector, a state electrical board, or another designated agency. Consulting with the AHJ is crucial to ensure that all electrical installations are in compliance with the relevant regulations. Remember that electrical safety is paramount in healthcare facilities, and proper GFCI protection is an essential component of a comprehensive electrical safety program. By following the NEC guidelines and consulting with the AHJ, you can help to minimize the risk of electrical shock hazards and ensure a safe environment for patients, staff, and visitors. Now let's delve deeper into the specific requirements of each NEC section. NEC Section 210.8 B. GFCI protection for personnel dwelling units states that all 125V through 250V receptacles installed in bathrooms shall have GFCI protection for personnel. The term bathroom is defined as an area including a basin with one or more of the following: a toilet, a urinal, a tub, a shower, or similar plumbing fixtures. This requirement applies to all bathrooms, regardless of whether they are located in dwelling units, commercial buildings, or industrial facilities. The purpose of this requirement is to protect individuals from electrical shock hazards that may arise when using electrical appliances or equipment in close proximity to water sources. GFCI protection works by monitoring the current flowing through a circuit. If the current flowing out of the circuit differs from the current flowing back in by more than a small amount, typically 5 mA, the GFCI will trip, interrupting the flow of electricity. This can happen if someone is accidentally touching a live wire while also touching a grounded object, such as a metal pipe or a wet surface. The GFCI will trip quickly enough to prevent a serious electrical shock. NEC Section 550.13 B. Receptacle outlet states that all 125V, 15A and 20A receptacle outlets installed in mobile homes, manufactured homes, and recreational vehicles shall have GFCI protection if they are located within 6 feet of a sink or wet location. This requirement is similar to that of NEC Section 210.8 B, in that it aims to protect individuals from electrical shock hazards in areas where water is present. The term wet location is defined as an area where water or other liquids may be present, such as a laundry room, a car wash, or an outdoor area. The rationale behind the 6-foot distance requirement is that individuals are more likely to come into contact with water while using electrical appliances or equipment within this zone. NEC Section 517.21, Ground Fault Circuit Interrupter Protection for Personnel states that GFCI protection is not required for receptacles installed in critical care areas of healthcare facilities where the toilet and basin are installed within the patient room. This exception is based on the understanding that critical care areas require a higher level of electrical reliability and the nuisance tripping of GFCIs could potentially disrupt essential medical equipment or procedures. The term critical care area is defined as a space within a healthcare facility where patients are subjected to invasive procedures and are continuously monitored. These areas typically include intensive care units, cardiac care units, and operating rooms. The rationale for the exception is that the risk of electrical shock in critical care areas is mitigated by other safety measures, such as the use of isolated power systems and regular equipment maintenance. Isolated power systems are designed to prevent electrical current from flowing through the patient in the event of a ground fault. This is achieved by isolating the power supply from ground, so that there is no return path for the current. Regular equipment maintenance ensures that all electrical equipment is in good working order and that there are no potential hazards. Even though GFCI protection may not be required in critical care areas, it is still important to take other precautions to prevent electrical shock hazards. These precautions include ensuring that all electrical equipment is properly grounded, using only approved extension cords, and avoiding the use of electrical appliances or equipment in wet areas. Finally, always consult with the local electrical inspector or authority having jurisdiction or ODGE to ensure compliance with all relevant regulations.